All right, just everybody. I'm going live, so everybody knows. Don't talk shit about people, unless you want them to hear it. It's like the skirt. White one? Look at the leg. He ain't that just like all big like you were saying. Get that shit. Keep beat for it. You say because the height. Right. With the height so mad? Yeah. That's not big. He's 135. Yeah. He's a big dude because he got
I apologize, but I just saw that text last night.
Have a wife? I see what you mean, like Earl looks big.
Good. I got a call last night. Matt and Glenn broadcasting trying
Oh, what's up, my peeps? My bad, I haven't been looking at the comments. Yeah, we're just waiting for this thing to start. I want to see a ball at the press conference. Tommy hit SugarHill training. I'm not sure if that's still the case. Yeah, SugarHill's here. Why is it taking forever? It's a good question. Not the same one. Tommy Fury isn't that darling like his brother. God bless. Yes, sir. Just got a question. Yep. Jesus. Oh, I hear movement. So, it might be Alan. people are coming in here.
Jake Paul fresh out.
Republican peeps. 50 seconds alive. You guys heard that? People are coming.
Lucky I can't do keep up. That was when I left down there instead of fucking
So Jake Paul down here?
And it's already afternoon. No, it's still morning. I already forgot we're in Vegas. Does anybody know what time really is? I don't know.
Morning.
Yeah, somewhere around there this morning. Hello, everybody. Did everybody have a good breakfast? Yes? Wow, that sounds very exciting. Hey, are we excited?
Yeah.
So are we excited about December 18th?
Yeah.
Yes. Man, we need more coffee. Thank you. Yes, more excitement here. Yes. So we're going to my home state, Florida, one of the prettiest cities, Tampa. And we're going to have a great fight. One that we've been waiting for a while. Tommy Fury is going to show us what he's really made of. Hello, Mr. Banks. Don't be ashamed. It's so good. Your family. It's good. And we're going to have our outstanding Jake Paul show us what he's all about against a real fighter. Somebody with very deep roots in the sport. Obviously, the younger brother of the outstanding heavyweight champion, Tyson Fury. Any excitement here? Hello? Yes, this is going to be December 18th, and it's going to take place at Amalie Arena. And it's going to be presented by Showtime Sports, Holden Productions, and Most Valuable Promotions. Did y'all get a chance to see Problem Bot? He disappears. That guy just kind of shows up and disappears. I hope he gets a chance to come in and make an appearance. Just to give you a couple of snippets about this fight, Jake Paul is going to be facing 22-year-old Tommy Fury. And like I said, Tommy, the younger brother of Tyson Fury, I'm a huge fan. And when you have a 4-0 record with 3 KOs, you wonder, how in the world are you going to face somebody with such deep roots? And to get a little bit more on that information, we're going to be talking to the stars of the event. But right now, I am in awe because, again, we're among boxing royalty. The nephew of the great Serrano Steward, great boxer, great trainer, Mr. SugarHill is with us. Sugar, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
And I have to say, you look quite dapper today. Always do, though.
It's Vegas.
I know. You haven't said anything about my hair. What's up with that?
Because it's always nice.
Thank you. Thank you. So, the question begs, how did you come about being part of the Fury team?
I guess pretty much simple was Tyson Fury, but that's his younger brother. I've been around him in the gym training with the family. And obviously I've been in the gym with Tommy as well, watching him and Tyson box and just helping out, just teaching a few things. And I guess just recently just came about that having me train him for this big fight coming up here.
There's a lot of credibility in your family, long line of champions being built in Detroit and, honed, extraordinary talent. What can you tell us about Tommy? What do you bring to the table for somebody like Tommy?
Well, Tommy's athletic and he's been around boxing his whole life. Not actually boxing, but being around it, seeing it, and wanting to do it. But for whatever reasons, he didn't stay in boxing as much as Tyson did. And he's very athletic, very determined, and he learns fast. So it's exciting for me to be able to work with somebody like that, because that's what makes me get up and go a lot more for somebody who really wants to learn and is excited about it.
We all know that Tommy has, like you said, a great background in sports, very athletic, but he's now an influencer. He's a star, very famous. He's actually a star in the UK in one of those reality shows. So, you know, at 22, life could take a completely different direction. How serious is he about the sport?
I believe Tommy's very serious about the sport. You know, we joke around a little bit, but he always gets a little bit upset when we talk about it, about him, his other career moves that he's involved in, and he does really want to box. I mean, he's you know, taking this fight here, and he's taking it very seriously. And yeah, I mean, it's in his blood. It's boxing. It's also in his culture too. So the whole family boxes. Me spending time over in England with Tyson and his family, the first thing they do with the kids is they want to say, "Can he fight?" That's the first thing they want to know. So that's just a part of their culture, and it's in his blood as well.
So can you really blame a guy who's good looking, coming from a family with deep roots in the sport, good, and a star influencer? Reality TV has made huge stars. He can't really be upset about that, really. I wish I was a reality show star. Anyway, when we look in the future, does Tommy have what it takes to be a real contender?
I just believe time will tell. You know, he's just starting to learn some new things in boxing. This is it's a lot different than watching it on TV and watching your big brother. So it's just a learning process, and just time will tell. You can't really say it right now. If I had those kind of powers, then.
Well, you know what they say, if my aunt had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. That's not happening either. But I'm pretty sure you're very good at what you do. I know so. So let's not complain about that. I'm very happy you're here, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen December 18th. And right now we're going to open the floor for the press to make questions, to ask questions. We have a mic going on. Lance?
Oh, great! No questions. Thank you.
SugarHill, the Slant Pugmire from USA Today. Just wanted to have you elaborate on something you told me previously. Tommy's body of work is not very complete. You actually described him as a little bit above a novice. What do you need to work on specifically to drive him to the level where he can defeat Jake Paul?
From what I see, I just need to work on Tommy's footwork and a little bit of his coordination, just getting him more familiar with certain moves that you do in boxing that's going to make him, you know, compete at a higher level than what he's been competing at. I didn't tell much, did I?
Hey, come on, Sugar.
SugarHill, Keith Heidig from BoxingScene.com. What did you think of Tommy's performance against Anthony Taylor? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it?
Was his last performance? That was his last performance?
Yes.
I didn't actually. Honestly, I didn't watch it. I didn't. But from what I heard, it wasn't. I heard it wasn't a good look. But you know, I guess that's from the family, so they're maybe over-critical about it, but probably right.
Follow-up question: how much do you think it motivates him because he has so much pressure on him from his family, within his family?
I think it is a certain amount of pressure, and that's just something that comes with it. You know, being the younger brother of the heavyweight champion of the world, and always looking up to Tyson and wanting to be like him and do the things that he's done. It's always just been a pressure period, but now I know it's a bit more because this is a big stage now. This is not just in the gym sparring somebody, being an amateur, having fights, and even turning pro. Each time, the longer he's in boxing, each step is just going to have more and more, you know, it's a more challenge for him. So that's what anybody sort of say.
SugarHill, right here. Peter Breno, Art of Sports. What do you think about this extra bet going on that they have that Tommy has to change his name to Tommy Fumbles? It fumbles if he wins, if he loses, and you know, vice versa, he gets $500,000 if he wins. What do you think about that?
From what you're telling me, it sounds a little bit personal, and it sounds like business. He said he got to change his name, and the other part of the bet is some money. So, yeah, it's just personal. It's just something they got going on. If that's what they want to do, it's interesting. It's just like if you had two guys in the street on the same block, you know, making a bet. It's just a bet.
Thank you.
Fair play.
Javon, over here. Jeremy here, just with fansided.com.
It's SugarHill because you're not gonna say it right, so it's just sugar is easier.
Got you. When you're dealing with a fighter with potential, what are the things that you're looking at specifically when you see him, and how do you go about unlocking that potential? And is it that much harder when you're dealing with someone that's starting from a base level?
Well, I've trained a lot of fighters from the base level from scratch, so it's not anything that's unfamiliar to me. Mainly what I do is I watch them shadow box and just start making adjustments. I need to know what they're thinking when they're in their shadow boxing, and that tells me a lot on what I need to work on with the fighters. And with me, everything I do is basics anyway, so I'm going to start to correct and fix the fundamentals, so then you'll be able to achieve and excel in the things that the fighter wants to do, what is in his mind and what he wants to create.
SugarHill, Mohammed Mubarak with the Electronic Urban Report. Tell us what more can you give to Tommy to add to his development? And where is he at right now? In your opinion, where is he at in his development?
Well, I think Tommy's at the development stage right now, just the beginning to start to understand and be really involved and focused in boxing. And right now, I'm happy with that. And I think it's going to be a fast progress for Tommy because some of the things I've showed him, how he grabbed hold to him so quickly and is able to do them, it reminds me a bit of Tyson. It's just that Tyson's been boxing his whole life in the ring and in the gym, and Tommy hasn't. So it's going to be interesting just to watch how fast he's going to really grow. And like I said, it's exciting to me because I just enjoy teaching and watching somebody learn and go out there and do it and be happy about it.
Hi, SugarHill, right here, Giandra LaBeouf, Boxing Insider. To follow up on what you just said, since the Furies are a fighting family, you just mentioned that he just hasn't fought his whole life like his brother. Is there a signature thing that the Fury family does in fighting, and does Tommy have that?
It's not a signature thing, it's just fighting, so that would be the signature. Everybody in the family fights.
And secondly, you've seen a lot of styles throughout your career. How would you categorize Jake Paul's style? What would you liken it most to from what you've seen of his fighting?
I was just watching on the screen here and I was talking to one of my other young fighters, Nico Ali Walsh, and I was asking him what did he see in the fight. And it's just a lot of, Jake is very creative in the ring. I'm watching him, so I hear bad talk about him, but I have to give him a lot of credit for what he's doing and how he's learning. He doesn't look like a beginner like everybody's talking about, like a very, very beginner, because of the things that he's doing as far as thinking and making adjustments and creating opportunities to land punches. And I think he's coming along just fine, just as well as anybody who's just starting boxing.
Thank you, Giandra. It's always so good to see you. And I know Tommy was supposed to be with us today, so it's not like we came empty-handed. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency. He's actually flying back to the UK as we speak, so we hope everything is working out well. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have him soon via satellite, Zoom. It's technology. Thank you, Chris de Blasio. We will have him, we promise. Not today, soon. So I just have one question. I know you're very strict. You always, put us at bay. Media is always at bay in your camp. How are you going to control the media attention that somebody like Tommy will bring to any boxing camp?
Well, in the gym, we're just training, so it's no windows, and that's it. Close the door, start training. We have media days and things like that, things that we have to do, but me, I'm not too particular about videoing and posting things like that. I don't think it's that important. I don't really care if they do it, but as long as they focused on training. And that's just the main part, what they do outside of the gym, as far as doing their downtime on social media. It's all a business at this point, really. So I don't really complain about it. I don't do it, but I know it's a new thing that's out, and you have to be able to take it and use it to be able to grow. And I think with this fight here, the way things have gone, and it's bringing a lot of attention to boxing. And that's with the social media and how this thing has just grown to such a big event now. and it's just good for boxing. Period. I only see boxing growing because of this. I think that you have these two fighters, like novice fighters, fighting on a pay-per-view like a big card. This is big boxing right here. That you have these two like beginning guys fight on, and I think it's just great. Everybody's a lot of people probably gonna disagree with me on that, but I do think it's great. I mean, you get people, if you're in a neighborhood and they're out there fighting, they're gonna gather around and watch it. It doesn't matter how much experience they really have. People just want to see a good fight.
I agree. Coach, always a pleasure. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you December 18th in Tampa.
Thank you. Glad I was here, and yeah, this is gonna be a big event.
Yes, we hope so. So,
I'll keep the mic with me.
this is an outstanding event, and I'm so excited. I feel like constrained here in the seat, but who doesn't know Jake Paul? Really? Like, even really? Oh, come on, you guys have no clue who he is. Of course. The one thing we don't know about him, or most people don't know about him, is that he has a huge heart. Jake has done outstanding work with the community, with kids, working against bullying. I think he's one of the few promoters that actually split promoter-fighter that takes away from his own purse to split it among the fighters in his undercard. And I think that's very, very heartfelt. And I am so proud to present to you Mr. Jake Paul. Look at you. Wait. Wait. Okay, so I'm all for surprises. Where's my man BJ Flores, man?
Oh, BJ's here.
Where's BJ?
BJ's right here.
Oh, there you go. Hey.
Yeah.
How you doing? And Coach D,
Coach D.
are you handing the baton? What's up with that? What?
We're building the dream team, and we had to bring in a secret weapon.
Okay. This opens a whole can of worms, completely different can of worms. But it's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's good to be here in Vegas. Shout out to the people watching at home. Another one. Here we go.
We're going to talk a little bit about Coach T. I need to know how and when and why.
Well, I take it from here, Jake.
Ooh.
I've been doing this for about 40 years.
But you're all of 25.
Well, things happen. I've been through a lot. I was around during Tyson time. I saw something in the white boy. I made sure I made it happen. So we here.
There you go. So when did you decide to touch base with Coach T?
After the Woodley fight, I came out, I reassessed my performance, and I was like, I did great. I beat a 5-time UFC champion. I took his hardest punch that he won the UFC championship with like it was nothing. I was off balance. It's boxing. You're gonna get dirty if you're a mechanic. But I was like, there's some things we can tighten up, and that's where started making some calls, and that's where Coach D came in, and it's been a game changer.
So Coach D is actually an advisor to BJ.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I came in for nourishment, and he wasn't making weight, so I made sure he made weight. We came in. I continued to tell him. I said, "Come with that right jab, under that belt." He listened. He's a good boy. Like I said, apple don't fall too far from the tree. I talked to his papa. His papa's a good guy. Yeah, we just working.
Well, I look forward to see you performing December 18th.
And look, Tommy went and got SugarHill. Tommy went and getting Tyson to be in his corner. So what am I gonna do? I have a response to that. This is a serious business. Life is on the line.
Okay, so now I'm going to change gears now that you said life is on the line. Many times you've said boxing saved your life. How did the sport save your life?
Man, I was a young kid in Los Angeles, just getting caught up in the wrong things, surrounded by the wrong group of people, and boxing gave me the chance to take my life back and to follow a routine and to work on something and to have a purpose, and it gave me something to fight for. I wasn't meant for LA, although I thought I was. Boxing is my true home, and it took me until I was 21 years old to find that, you know, but some of the greatest fighters don't find out they're fighters until they're a little bit older. Deontay Wilder, the list goes on.
Before we go any further, I need to just acknowledge the presence of Problem Bot right there. Thank you, Problem Bot. Yeah. Is that your security?
Yeah, he's got an RPG.
You know, a lot of people talk about what you do outside the ring. Obviously, you've been an influencer all your life, even before influencers were, you know, famous and the thing to do and trending. But there's a lot more to you. I just gave a little bit of snippets of what you do for the community. First of all, talk to us about that commitment against bullying and children in general.
Yeah, look, I want to use my platform for good. Ever since I was young, you know, my dad is here today. Shout out Greg. And give back, volunteering, handing out food on Thanksgiving, whatever it was, we always wanted to get involved in the community. And I had a dream as a kid to have a foundation, have a charity, and now I'm finally at a place where I felt like I was able to give back and to use my platform to give back. And that's why I'm passionate about Boxing Bullies, my foundation, and fighting back against bullying, because I once was a bully and I realized it wasn't cool. And then I got cyberbullied by my peers and friends when I started to post videos online. And I was like, wow, these comments hurt. And I realized this is a big problem in our generation, and cyberbullying affects so many people. And I think boxing gives people confidence, you know, to not have to feel like they need to pull other people down or to just be themselves. And that's what it did for me. And so I want to be able to share boxing and this message just with the whole entire world. And I think everyone should take up the sport, even just for fitness, confidence, and being able to protect yourself.
Mental health, key. Thank you for that. But talking about the sport itself, I get a chance to speak to fighters all the time, and the one thing they always say is boxing is a very jealous wife. It doesn't like to share their talent. Doesn't like to share their men. You spread yourself out so thin that I wonder, how deep is your commitment to the sport itself?
I'll take this one.
Thank you, Coach.
I'll probably say, you know, this kid right here, we've been coaching him. He been a smart kid. He a good boy. Like I said, he can fight. At the end of the day, if it ain't about fighting, it ain't about a motherfucking thing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I brought him in. He gonna fight. Well, we tried to get your brother, didn't we?
Yep.
We tried to get his brother.
Yep.
His brother was running.
Yep.
I talked to Tyson. Tyson was running. I talked to Sugar Ray Leonard. He was running. So now, you know, we trying to find people where we can fight and have a good, decent fight what we got in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It's a team. That's why I have the best team, you know? I'm surrounded. It's not a one-man operation. I've brought in the best. I have the best filmers, the best security, the best managers, advisors, business partners, investors, editors, you name it, mascots. So it's not just me, and we can get the job done. Clearly, the formula is working. So
yes,
that's why we're here.
Yes,
we'll run y'all through a drill as well. Whenever if we can do it down, that'll be fine. We can run through the drill that we do.
You're gonna run through the drill right now?
Go ahead.
Cameras on, please. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Excellent drill. You know, the interesting thing is we have Tommy Fury and yourself that came to the spot today for that fight on December 18th. And it's almost like the yin and the yang. He comes from a boxing background and became an influencer, you know, reality show star in the UK, and you came the other way around, even though you have an athletic background when you played football, and then you became a huge star, and then you decided to take on boxing later in your life. How do you think that balances out? That's like a yin and yang.
Yeah, look, I mean, Tommy claims to have been doing this his whole life, and he has an amateur career, and he's been around it. That is true, but he hasn't worked as hard as me, you know? I see a green guy who hasn't sparred enough times and has only been put in there with opponents that were meant to lose. This is his first real test where his opponent isn't some guy that's just gonna flop over. And, you know, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see a fighter who is a virgin, in my opinion. He has no idea what he's getting himself into. This is his first time under the big lights on the big stage, and he's gonna crack under pressure.
The one thing that I see is your eye to pick people around you, you know, picking your opponents, picking your coaches. You also pick somebody that I love, and I am a diehard fan. She is the epitome of badass bitch, Amanda Serrano. She is perhaps the only, thank you, Problem Bot. Her record alone speaks for the quality of fighter that she is. But as a human being, she's also a very giving woman. What made you look at her and sign her?
Look, I mean, just the simple fact that she's the GOAT, greatest woman of all time. There's no debating that, you know. And I like to work with people that are cool. And Amanda and I, you know, clicked from day one. And she, you know, needs to be put onto a bigger platform, and that's where Most Valuable Promotions, Nikisa and myself come in, because she's a star, like you said. She's got the record, she's got all the accolades, but it's the constant. You hear the boxing story all the time about the best fighter in the world who is underpaid or isn't as big of a star as they should be. And so that's what I've figured out. That's the formula that I've developed, is the marketing, the content, the branding, the entertainment side. And that's what we hope to be able to give to Amanda Serrano and other boxers alike. You know, we want to elevate this sport as much as possible, bring more eyeballs, bring more attention to the best, and that's exactly what Amanda Serrano is. And we're all just ecstatic to be working together because the potential is huge. We're already eyeing in 2022 the biggest women's boxing match of all time, Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor.
Wow.
Working with Eddie Hearn to get that done. So, you know.
We've been waiting for the fight for a while.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
But it needed that extra juice.
Yes, it does, and you gave it to her. As a matter of fact, she's going to be in this event. An opponent to be determined. We're going to be announcing that very soon. But I'm very happy that she's getting the recognition that she deserves. She's amazing. And I just, you know, there's this very short sentence that I use. She's a bitch, she's a boss, and she shines like gloss.
I love it. I love
it. So I'm very excited about that. And now we're going to open the floor for questions from the press.
Jake, Keith Heineck from BoxingScene.com. How you doing? I was just wondering if you can compare the type of challenge that you expect from Tommy Fury as opposed to what Tyron Woodley presented for you.
Yeah, I think it's two very different style of fighters. You know, I think Tyron just has so much experience. You know, he's been in there with the hardest hitters, as the best in the world. And so he's had that experience, and he knew how to counter and take away some of my best things in the ring, and how to take a punch. Tommy Fury hasn't been tested, so we will see how he responds. And I think that's the beautiful thing about this fight, is the unknown. Is he actually a Fury, or will we find out that he's just a half Fury? You know, does he have the heart like his brother, or is he just living in the shadow of his brother? I think the beautiful thing about this fight is stepping into the unknown, because this is also my first time fighting a real boxer, quote unquote, whatever that means. And he's undefeated, he's young, same age, same height, same weight. So it's really a perfect matchup, and we're just gonna see who worked harder, who wants it more, and who has that dog inside of him.
Jay, Ellie Segbeck, ES News. Quick question. So you have a bet going on with him about changing the name, and what's your prediction for the fight? What round does it end?
I will TKO him in the later rounds. You know, Tommy hasn't gone past 4 rounds. He hasn't even had a fight past 4 rounds. So I think he'll be gassed. This will be the first time him actually getting punched in the face by someone who could hit, who is the same weight as him. You know, he's always fought smaller guys with losing records. So I think he's gonna fade. I know he's gonna fade. It just, what round? 5th, 6th, maybe 7th. Maybe I knock him out the last 10 seconds of the 8th. But he's not hearing that 8th bell ring.
Jake,
I got 500K on the line. So, you know, when Tommy loses, he has to change his name to Tommy Fumbles. And, you know, he accepted it. I'm putting 500K. It's on the line. So we'll see what happens.
Jake, Mike Coppinger, ESPN, right here. You know, look, one of the biggest issues in boxing right now is that a lot of the top names aren't very active. Yet you're here with your 3rd pay-per-view fight of 2021. Why do you think it is that you're able to get all these fights in, and a lot of the other guys, you know, obviously you have less fights, but you're still fighting pay-per-view fights and all the media obligations that go with it. Why do you think the other guys aren't fighting as often?
You know, like you said, it's one of the biggest problems in boxing is promoters not wanting to risk their big fighters losing, because that's their paychecks, that's how they make their revenue, and so it's too big of a risk for them. But me, you know, we're a big team, but a nimble team. We move fast, we make decisions, and I'm not scared of anybody. You know, people are saying, fight this person, fight that person, fight this person. I'm doing these fights literally as fast as we can get the deals done. And I think a lot of these pro boxers, from what I'm sort of finding out, is they don't work actually that hard, and they're not really down to fight all the time whenever the call comes in. So I think that's the big difference. This is my 4th fight in 12 months. It's the 3rd pay-per-view this year, but it's 4 fights in 12 months. So really the only person that's as active at this big of a platform is Canelo.
I have a question about that. I'm sorry.
I just want to address something, because I feel like everybody in at the end of the day, the white boy can fight. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like people try to underestimate it. You know, you know that. Yeah, he can fight. So.
I have a question about that. This is perhaps the biggest week in boxing in 2021. Canelo against another outstanding fighter, Caleb Plant. Your views on that fight? Who's going to take the win?
It's exciting. You know, in boxing now, rarely as a fan do we see these big fights where you get excited and you wake up on Saturday morning and you're like, man, I can't wait for tonight because I'm so excited for the fight. That's only happened maybe once or twice this year, you know, with the Fury Wilder fight, maybe Mayweather Logan, maybe a couple of Jake Paul fights, but this one's exciting.
History making.
It's great for and it's great for the sport. The unification of 168. Can Canelo do it? Can Caleb Plant do it?
Undefeated, another undefeated fighter in his record.
And this fight is exactly what boxing needs more of. You know, we want to see Canelo versus Benavidez. We want to see Plant versus Benavidez. We want to see these big fights. Why aren't they happening? Who? The promoters. Because I'm sure the fighters want the payday.
That's above my payday. So I wish I had the answer to that.
Jake, Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV. Thanks for taking my question. I'm wondering, you've come into boxing to sort of disrupt the landscape of the traditional boxing with having big fight after big fight after big fight and being a relatively new name. Talk to us about that. Is that what you planned, or is that just how things are shaking out?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a young fighter that still has a lot of things to prove, but with each fight, I'm elevating my level of opponent, and we just want to do it bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know, boxing is the snowball effect. When you keep on winning as a fighter, they just get bigger. The fights get bigger. Everything's more exciting. And so we've just taken this step by step. But yeah, this has been in the cards the whole way. You know, when I first said like 2 years ago, hey, I want to fight Conor McGregor. I want to fight Nate Diaz. I was joking about fighting Mike Tyson. I was saying I want to fight Canelo.
I remember the list.
And by the way, yeah, I remember the list. Javante, everyone's on the list. And people
it doesn't matter what
kid's...
weight division.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But people were like, oh, this kid's crazy 2 years ago. And now it's like, wow. We've gotten this far, this fast. and the world is my oyster. All I have to do is 3 letters, W-I-N. And why do you think I work so hard? Why do you think I've progressed a lot faster than a lot of these pros are? Because I'm having to rise up to the highest level of boxing with 18 months of experience, 20 months of experience. So I'm progressing a lot faster than a lot of these pro boxers. And it is what it is because they don't have the pressure. They don't really have anything to lose. They lose, it's whatever. If I lose, the whole world's laughing. The whole world's like, yeah, ha, we told this kid. Like, we got him. This was just a thing. He's not a real pro. Get him out of here. Finally, we got our sport back. A lot of boxing wants to see me lose. A lot of them want to see me win, but a lot of them want to see me lose. So I have a pressure, and that's created a diamond.
I have an answer to that comes from a very credible source. Marco Antonio Barrera, world champion in 3 different divisions, Hall of Famer. And we talked about you in this fight. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't know. A lot of fighters do support this because they're bringing a new generation of fans. How responsible do you feel bringing this new generation that don't remember the Julio Cesar Chavez, or they just know about Muhammad Ali because of the documentary?
Yeah, no, I'm fully responsible for all of it. I mean, who else would be? I'm not sure. You know, like I said, 4 fights in 12 months. I have 65, 70 million followers across my platforms. That's a younger demographic. And they're coming into the sport of boxing and they're going to become fans of other people. There's room for everyone to grow. I can build my skyscraper as high as I want to without it touching your skyscraper, his skyscraper, anyone's skyscraper. We can all build our buildings as high as possible, and that's what I want to do, is just bring more eyeballs to the sport, and that's what I've done.
This question is Coach D, straight back. Coach D, we just saw you come off the off season, one of the biggest tours of the year. Just this being one of the biggest fights of the year, just want to see what you feel you can contribute and bring to this event.
What the hell he said?
We just saw you come off the off season, right? One of the biggest tours of the year. Just want to see this being one of the biggest fights of the year. What you feel? We saw what you contributed to the tour. What can you contribute to this fight?
Well, at the end of the day, we took him through training. He whooped his security ass. Hell, he whooped my ass in training. You know, the next thing for him, I don't see nobody fucking with baby boy right here but God.
One more question?
Goes for Jake. Jake, one person that is, hey, right here. One person that's always talking, you've had back and forth with is Dana White. And Dana White has asked, when are you going to fight somebody your age? When are you going to fight somebody that's a boxer? You're doing that now. So do you have a message for him?
Dana, again, thank you, wherever you are. Thank you for promoting my fights. You literally tee up every single fight for me perfectly. You place bets against me. I prove you wrong. You try to bring in coaches for my opponents so that they can beat me. You're letting Tommy Fury train at the UFC Performance Institute. Give it up, guy. Like, give it up. Fight a real boxer. When is he gonna fight a guy his own age? Or whatever Dana White is constantly fucking saying. You know, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And he's mad that I'm doing it because he's a control freak. And when he doesn't have his fingers dipped into someone's business, he doesn't want to see them succeed and he tries to bring them down. But he's not smart enough to realize that every single time he talks about me, it just makes my shit go up.
Thank you, Jake. And before we close, I know you want to give us any final thoughts before we let all these beautiful people go back to a good morning on a Saturday?
Maybe a poem.
Yeah, I actually got a poem.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, so you YouTuber, boxer, influencer, and writer.
I wrote this. You know, I'm upset that Tommy's not here. You know, I know he's taking care of his mother, and I respect that, you know, as a man, and I hope she's okay. I hope the family's gonna do well, but I got a little something for him. Roses are red, violets are blue. In his first obligation, Mr. Fury couldn't come through. No worries, only stress for a few. I'm used to promoting my fights alone. I just didn't think I'd have to do this one too. Carrying the marketing sales, oh Lord, what's new? And y'all wonder why the highest paid boxers are me and Canelo, top 2. One girl whispers, there goes Tommy Fury and his pretty green eyes. Her friend replies, yes, it's true, but he prefers to kiss guys. Tommy Fury's friends let him skip leg day. Just look at those chicken thighs. December 18th, his home won't be the only thing burglarized. I'm stealing his family's boxing legacy, all because Tommy did too much ecstasy while Jake was in the gym sparring heavily. The best bet for Tommy is a Molly May pregnancy. Tommy, it's okay you lost. You'll still be a great dad. But when she finds out about his side alley makeout in Brampton, she's gonna be a little mad. After all this though, I will say Tommy has a lot of spirit. A lot of Spirit airline miles. Tommy is still saving up to be able to sit in the aisles. Roses are red, violets are blue. December 18th, Tommy Fury, you will be on the canvas, kissing my shoe.
Well said, well said. Thank you for your time, Coach D. It's a pleasure meeting you. Can't wait to see you in the corner. BJ, I got your back. Maybe I get a chance to go in the ring. You be my coach. Thank you everybody for joining us. Great shout out to Resorts World Las Vegas. Thank you for hosting us. And Showtime people, we have a date, December 18th. Muchas gracias a todos.
BJ Flores, BJ, come on up for a photo, please. Steven Espinoza.
Not used to see you with your shirt on anymore.
I'll take it off when I go up there.
Josh Taylor after?
Jake, do you hear that?
Lightweight champ.
No, junior welterweight.
BJ, come on up. Sorry. Is that right? Yeah, I'm sorry.
BJ, you all right?
Yeah. Nice team, Sean Nagisa. Thank you. Please, Claudia, join in. Thank you, love. Great. Terrific, guys. Hey, Steve, can you get Josh Taylor? You see Josh? Yeah, for sure. We'll hang out. Yeah. Yes. Come on down this end. Yeah, those guys have it. They're not going anywhere. All right, thank you, everybody. We're going to ask Josh Taylor to come up and do a picture with you, Jake. And then we're going to break into some one-on-ones.
Can you anytime with Jake?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll just do like a right here.
So right here.
I'm good, no. And then if let them do a little stronger, and if you want to do a little extra, I'm happy with that. I'm not sure if you didn't come up yet. We can just start with some one-on-ones. Yep. So Jake, if you're, food. Thanks, Nikisa. Good shot. Make it good, Gus. Get a keeper. Come on, Logan. Come on, Logan. Let's get a shot up there. Let's go.
Logan takes photos now, man.
Oh, he takes photos? You're not in them? Yeah, let's do the one-on-ones.
Jake.
Just come down here. We'll have our press guys actually right over here. Jake, you come right over here. Yeah, make some. We'll bring the guys around, be able to scrum. Circle up. Thanks, brother.
Jake, how you doing, man?
You good?
Doing good, man.
It's
beautiful. Beautiful day in Vegas. Feeling good. Wish Tommy was here, but it's okay.
Hey, Jake, when you saw Anthony fight in Cincinnati, you weren't too sure you were going to fight him because you weren't impressed with the performance. What changed?
You know, Tommy still has the name. He still has the marketing. And I still believe he's going to try and put up a good fight. He's going to put in the work. and it's a massive fight. You know, he's riding the coattails of his brother's success and fame, and he's got this whole reality show shit, and his girlfriend is famous. So it's cool. It's gonna be tight.
Jake, what do you think about Tommy's show today and the emergency?
It's a little weird, you know. I hope he's telling the truth because like that's bad karma, but who knows? I feel like sometimes when you get on this big stage, or maybe the reality of actually signing the contract and having to do this is setting in, and he could be spooked. Time will tell.
Like, how comfortable are you on these big stages? Like I said, 4th time in a year, and you call a fake boxer to let everybody else it.
No, literally, I mean, I'm chilling, bro. Like, this is what I love to do, and at this point, I don't know what else to do. Like, this is my life, and it's crazy, and it's fast-paced, and there's cameras everywhere all the time, but, you know, I've been doing this since I was 16, 17 years old.
Jake, I want to give you a chance.
With all access and all that.
Dana didn't. I don't know if he responded. He definitely seen that. He's definitely seen that.
Jake, want to give you a chance, man, to respond to those rumors. Dillian Dennis talked about it. Clarissa Shields talked about it. There being like a no knockout clause in the Tyron Woodley fight. Just want to give you a chance to clear the air on that.
It's look, it's a bunch of losers trying to make shit up to get into headlines and to get reporters like yourself to ask them about that exact question and put their name into the mix so that they can get a little bit of clout. You know, having a no knockout clause in a contract, I've never heard of that. And first of all, it's highly illegal. I would be in jail. You know, that's like rigging a fight. I would really be in prison if that actually were a real thing. So it's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. And they got exactly what they wanted out of it, which is for people to mention their name.
Jake, who would take for you in your feud with Dana?
Man, I think Jake Paul versus Dana White. We got to settle it in the ring or in Vegas. You know, I don't know where he's at, but at some point.
He's in New York for that card tonight.
Well, at some point we're gonna run into each other. It's just bound to happen, and we can settle it there.
Would you ever get an octagon?
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Why not? You know, a couple years ago, if you asked me, yo, would you be the highest paid boxer in the world behind Canelo? I would say, man, that sounds crazy, but it's definitely possible. You say, yo, will you get in the octagon? I'd say, yeah, that sounds crazy, but it's definitely possible.
You reckon more than Wilder and Fury made for that fight?
Say it again?
You reckon more than Wilder and Fury made for that fight?
Yeah, for sure. This year, 100%.
Jake, have you got Hasbulla coming in your corner with MVP?
Yeah, it's confirmed. Hasbulla is going to be in the corner helping with training camp. I had to bring in a lethal weapon. It's Hasbulla versus Tyson Fury. We'll see who the better coach is.
Face off between Tyson and Hasbulla?
We're going to need to get Hasbulla a stool, but it's going to be a good one.
Jake, any truth to the rumors about your brother and Mike Tyson? What can you tell us about it?
Any truth to the rumors about Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson? We'll see. Anything is possible.
Mike Tyson's too old, no?
He's
too old, no?
Yeah, he's a little old.
So what happens if I beat Mike Tyson? I beat up an old man? That's not cool.
It's not cool. But you kind of already did beat up an old man, Floyd Mayweather.
Mike Tyson's an older man.
He's still in shape. Jake, I seen him yesterday. He's still in some shape.
No, I know. He's very strong.
That's Uncle Mike, though. That's low-key our uncle.
That's what I'm saying.
He's low-key our uncle, low-key.
Who's the name?
Why am I saying low-key so much?
Jake, who's the name about the Tommy that you are?
Say it again?
Who's the name about the Tommy that you are?
Who's the name other than Tommy? Oh, I mean, bro, there's a full list. Well, I mean, we'll see. It's back to the drawing board always.
Would you fight anybody with a belt?
Yeah. Would I fight Mayweather?
So would you fight anybody with a belt?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's bound to happen eventually.
His business with Tyron Woodley done. He got the tattoo. He said he wanted the rematch. Have you talked to him since all that?
I haven't spoken to him. You know, rumor is that the tattoo's not real. You know, there was never really anything that proved that it was real. It was just like a picture of his hand, and he did it like a month later after he was desperate. He was in my DMs asking me to take the fight. I'm like, yo, you should have got the tattoo the night of the fight. This lost momentum, and we've already moved on to Tommy. Sorry.
You don't think it ever happens again?
Nah. You know, I would like to. You know, if we fought again, I know I would do a lot better. I didn't perform my best that night. I had a hyperextended elbow. My legs were like feeling weird, feeling shaky. So, if we fought again, I would finish him 100%. But it's most likely never going to happen.
Jake, how big a deal to get somebody like Conor McGregor? Because you mentioned him before, you even started knocking people out. Now that you got more experience, how big a deal is it? Y'all about the same size. He's only a little bit older than you.
Yeah, no, it's very real. It's very real. I think that fight happens in the next 48 months, 36 months for sure. It makes financial sense. I don't have a message for Conor. You know, at this point, he needs me more than I need him. He's a fucking loser. He's a drunk motherfucker running around with his bullshit, cheating on his wife, doing all this crazy shit. So, you know, the guy's a mess. You know, he hasn't won in 4 years or something. So, like I said, he needs me more than I need him.
Jake, what have you made of Tommy's career so far?
Say it again?
What have you made of Tommy's career so far?
What have I made of Tommy's career so far? I will answer that question by saying I've made Tommy's career so far. No one knew or talked about this guy. No one even knew Tyson Fury had a little brother. Like, I was like, wait a second. Tyson Fury took his shit, and he has a little brother that popped out. Like, where did he come from? As soon as he started talking about me and calling me out and saying all this stuff, that's when Tommy Fury's Google searches started spiking. It's literally an actual numerical fact that as soon as Tommy started talking about me, his trending went 10 times more, his engagement went more. So I basically made his career, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyone who fights me becomes famous. Anyone who fights me gets a payday. They become rich. So that's just the level this has gotten to, and he hasn't done anything to impress me. That's why I don't have any respect for him. He's riding his brother's coattails. He's fought a bunch of losers, and December 18th, people are going to see him get exposed.
Are you going to go toe-to-toe and stand in front of him, or are you going to box him like you did Tiger?
I'm going to go toe-to-toe, come at him and knock him out. You know, the guy can't take a punch.
What about his power? You think he has the power?
He don't got power. He don't got power. He fought my sparring partner, Anthony Taylor. Anthony was like, he's got soft hands. You know, Tommy has good combinations. He's got fast hands, but he doesn't have power. He can't fight coming backwards. He's rigid. He doesn't have head movement. So we're going to take away all the things that he does good and expose him. He doesn't have a chin. He's never been hit by someone his own size. He's fighting smaller guys who have barely won any fights.
You hear about Kamaru Usman wants to fight Canelo, but you fight Kamaru Usman because he has a name and a belt in the UFC. Usman called you out.
Yeah, Usman started this whole thing on an interview somewhere where he was saying he wanted to fight me, and I was like, let's do it. Let's run it. No problem. Get your boss Dana, get your dad, and see if your dad will let you out of your contract to fight me. Again, I'm not scared of anybody. I will fight anybody. I am a better striker than 99.9% of the people in the UFC. Maybe some of the heavyweights could sit in there and spar with me, but that's about it. And people think I'm crazy, but look, I'm going to prove everyone wrong, and they'll come back to this interview years later and say, damn, this kid knew what the fuck he was talking about.
Do you think Usman beats Kobe again? You know, just curious, because I know you watch both sports.
I think Usman beats Kobe. Usman's definitely dominant in the UFC right now, especially at 170. But people forget, you know, I'm 190. He's going to come up and weight and fight someone his real own size. In a boxing match, I beat Kamaru Usman easy, no problem.
You finish him?
No problem.
Jake, what's your
no
prediction?
problem, bro.
That's it, guys. What's your prediction? That's it. That's it. What's your prediction for the Canelo fight?
Prediction for the Canelo fight. Man, I want Caleb to win. I'm rooting for Caleb. He's one of my favorite fighters. I think it's gonna be a decision, and it's really a swing fight for me. I think it's based on how the judges score it. I think, you know, the judges are gonna want to favor Canelo because he's Canelo. So Caleb's gonna have to go in there and really beat the champion. It's gonna be a close one.
You and Canelo are sharing showtime. You've been planting the seeds for a while that you would like to fight with him. Have you guys ever had a conversation? Have you met each other?
I've never talked to Canelo, never met him. You know, he said on a couple of interviews that he would do it. He hasn't denied the idea, and I think it's a massive fight for sure. I see that in the cards in the near future. Right now I'm focusing December 18th on Tommy Fury, but I would love to fight Canelo.
Thank you.
Hey, Jake, what do you think of a fight with Chavez Jr.?
Andy.
Scott, cars there?
You'll walk us.
I don't know. I'm gonna issue some favor.
No, you're not gonna fight. Anybody who thinks these guys are gonna fight, I will fuck them.
I think they're gonna fight. Which makes perfect sense to me. No brother should ever fight each other.
Exactly.
But what makes it? The money.
Cain and Abel? No.
The brothers competition that is is the Fury Hulk. Like, what are we doing? How are you not fighting Tyson Fury and he's fighting Tommy Fury? I gotta fight Tyson. I think you have to call Tyson out right now. Then you're not gonna get the money. These guys will scrap right there on the spot. To put that ginormous card, that's bigger, I think, than the fight Mike Tyson. Would be Tyson Fury and Tommy Fury.
I think so. You know, he's what, 90 pounds heavier than me. 5 inches. No.
Excuse me, Gregory. Is there any chance I can ask you a few questions? Yeah.
And like, I'm and stuff, and I have seen the fight, so like, you know, statistically, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good for you, but could you survive? What? Let's call it 6 round. 6 rounder. Could you make it to the end? That would be a hell of a goal.
Risk reward. Like, what's he's a big guy.
Well, so is Mike Tyson, although the years are not quite as commensurate. Is that a serious fight that we will see?
So, I mean, look, we've been like.
What's up, BJ? How's it going, brother? Good to see you, man.
Rumors start circulating, whatever, we can see. Then I was like,
Can we talk? Can we talk? Sure. Yeah. Cal Art of Sports right here with the great BJ Flores. Man, so you've been in Puerto Rico already, huh? 7 weeks? That's what Jake was telling me. So what? The secrecy about that, I guess, right?
Not really. We were there for the last Cape as well. So we've been in Puerto Rico since May. We've been out there working on Jake, getting Jake's fundamentals better, and working on what we got to do to win these fights. And he's progressing very nicely. So we're on the right track.
I meant more secret as far as Jake was saying that he's been secretly in camp for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if people knew he was there. I knew he was in Puerto Rico, but
I mean, just because he's not posting stuff and not showing stuff doesn't mean he's not working. So we know we got a tough challenge in this fight. We've been working accordingly, and Jake's taking this fight very serious. So he's in a very good place mentally.
I know Tommy's last opponent was coming out of your camp.
Yes.
Had it sparred with Jake.
Yeah.
What has he told you guys about what it's like there to be in there with Tommy?
He said he doesn't hit hard. He said all those things. But look, you got to take what Tommy was able to do to Anthony in the fight. He kept his range well. He's got good hand speed. Tommy's definitely got some gifts. He's got some attributes we've got to watch out for, and we'll prepare him for those accordingly.
With the bet stuff, I know you're not really involved with that, but I don't know. Just coming from boxing, like we traditionally come from boxing. What's your take seeing that stuff?
I mean, Jake's got a lot of confidence. He's willing to put his money where his mouth is. I'm a betting man myself, so I like the fact that he's willing to back up his words with his actions, and Jake feels he's going to win. And there's a $500,000 win bonus on the line for Tommy if he wins. So that comes out of Jake's own pocket. Jake feels very confident that he's going to win the fight, and you got to love the guy's confidence.
What were your thoughts when that rumor came out about that there was like a no knockout clause in the Tyrone Woodley fight?
It's ridiculous. It's bullshit. It's just, you'd have to be an idiot to believe that. So I don't know who believes that. If you believe there's a no knockout clause, you're just an idiot. I don't know what to say to you. Yes. Of course there wasn't. Tyron's career would have like exploded if he'd have knocked out Jake. He could have had a rematch, could have had a lot of different options. So of course he's doing everything he possibly could to knock out Jake. He wasn't able to do it. No fault on Tyron. He wasn't able to do it, and we wish him the best luck in the future. So
In that fight, Jake's conditioning started, the first time he'd ever gone really a lot of rounds, right? The first eight rounder that he made it that far. What are you doing in camp to kind of combat that?
I mean, it's just more experience. I mean, it's impossible to teach somebody how to go 8 rounds until they go 8 rounds. So, people don't know Jake had a very bad elbow injury going into that fight. He hyperextended his elbow very bad. We're very close to pushing the fight back. He wanted to gut it up and tough it out and do the fight anyways. But he had a badly injured elbow going into the fight. We don't make excuses. We're going to talk about it, but he definitely had a hyperextended elbow and it definitely affected his performance. And we're going to be a lot better this time.
Last one for me, man. Tonight, Canelo Plant, big fight, undisputed at 168, first ever. Roy didn't do it either. Break it down for me.
I got Canelo. I just feel like he's too good. He's too complete right now, and I feel like Caleb Plant just hasn't faced the level of opposition to get him ready for a guy like Canelo. Even though I feel like Caleb Plant is very talented, he's a very good fighter, but just Canelo's too good right now, too complete. He's been in with too many high-level guys, and he's going to be able to break Caleb down, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thank you, BJ. Appreciate your time, as always.
Probably come out from top at the end of that fight, I would imagine. But it's a massive fight, so you don't know how it goes. But anything can happen in boxing, so it's a really interesting fight. But if I was a betting man, I'd come
So naturally, we've kind of got we've got a few big fights coming up here. Naturally, we're all in town for Canelo versus Caleb Plant. How do you see these two going down? What do you see going on tonight?
That's a great fight as well. I think if anyone's got the ability to beat and upset Canelo, I think it's Caleb Plant with his movement and his boxing ability and the way he moves his slipness, uses his footwork very well, which I've seen Canelo have a little bit of trouble with in the past. Getting a little bit frustrated at times when he can sort of box and move a little bit. So I think Caleb Plant has the ability to do that, and I think early doors and the first half of the fight they will make it very tricky for Canelo, But I think Canelo will push on, he'll find a way to win, and I think he'll get the points in the end. I think he'll get a points decision, but I wouldn't be overly surprised if Caleb Plant gets the decision if he boxes him.
So you don't see most people in town this weekend and earlier have been saying that they think Canelo is going to put Caleb Plant out and knock him out somewhere in the middle rounds. You don't agree with that, do you?
Possibly, but possibly, but you never know. I think it's going to be a point victory, I would say, for Canelo, but I wouldn't be overly surprised if Caleb Plant's ability and the way he moves around and boxes and frustrates Canelo and outboxes him, that might be a possibility as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Plant gets a decision either.
What's your reaction to Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos? Teofimo Lopez and your names have been linked. He's mentioned a couple different times that he'd like to share the ring with you. What's your thoughts on his?
Everybody wants to share the ring with me. I'm undisputed champion at 140, so I'm the only undisputed champion in the sport at the minute in men's boxing. So everybody's going to have my name in their mouth, So everybody wants to fight me. So it's get in line, I've got a massive target on the back, so it's get in line.
Josh, another fight I want to get your take on, Gervonta Davis versus Pitbull, and just what are your thoughts on Leonard Ellerbe and them talk about how you can't sell tickets, kind of like that being the reasoning for
Gervonta. It's just been disrespect. I don't think they're going to put tank in anybody that's in threat of beating them anytime soon. That is what it is. I mean, I don't know who the guy is that he's boxing. I don't need to be disrespectful, but I don't know who he is. I've never saw him box, never saw him fight. So you expect Tank to come through that again quite handily. I don't sell arenas or anything like that. It's a lot of nonsense. I sell out arenas time and time again over in Scotland and down over in the UK. My last fight against Ramirez, if it had been in normal times, I'd have brought thousands over with me, and that MGM Grand would have been full. You know, it would have been thousands in there. So that is a lot of old shit. That's a lot of bollocks, that one. So yeah, I can sell a ticket or two myself.
With being that you're the man, you have all the belts, all roads lead to you.
Now, especially after the Ramirez now, after my last 2 fights, and since I've been the top rank in ESPN, my fights have been getting seen by the wider public and the audience over here, this side of the pond. So people know my name now, they know who I am now, they know I'm a good fighter, my style is fan friendly as well. So that comment is just ridiculous, you know. So they know I can sell a ticket, they know I'm a hot ticket to come see me fight.
Beyond that is the case, right? Like you said, you sell arenas out over there, and you have all the belts. Is it a matter of, well, you got to come where I'm filling arenas at? You got are these guys going to have to come to you?
Come over to me, or I could come over here. I like fighting here as well. You know, obviously I had my dream fight in becoming undisputed in May there, but it was hindered and kind of tainted because of all the restrictions, all the travel restrictions. None of my family could come. My fiance couldn't come. My friends couldn't come. My fans couldn't come. Nobody could come over with me. You know, I was over here twice with Carl Frampton. He brought thousands over with him and family and his friends and all the supporters. And then after the fight, meeting up with his fans the day after and all that. You know, it just made it special, man. I was like, I can't wait till I do this.
Yeah, being in the bar in the lobby after.
Yeah, and then eventually I got the fight. I got the dream fight and the undisputed fight for the undisputed champ, and no one could come with me. It was a real kick in the teeth. So I want to come back here, back to Vegas and do it again, and this time bring my travelling support with me and really make a real event for it and a real memorable night for not only myself but a memorable event for my fans and my family and that as well.
I got one last one. Crawford Porter, a fight that's kind of has implications because it's in around your division. Break that down for me. How does that go?
Yeah, I just sort of pointed out there that I think that's a real interesting fight. I think Porter is a real torrid night for anyone. The way he just makes it real physical and real crude in there and really sits on you and really puts it on you, come forward pressure fighter, you know, so uses his weight, uses his sort of strength and really makes it rough in there for people at times. So I think it's going to be a tough time for Crawford at bits in the fight, and he's going to have huge success in the fight, but I think in the end Terence Crawford's boxing ability and boxing brain and boxing IQ comes out on top, and I think it's a points victory for Crawford.
With the heavyweights right now, Usyk and Tyson are the only guys with the belts. I know there's a lot of politics have to happen before they can actually meet in the ring, but if they were to, how does that play out?
Wait, who, sorry?
Usyk and Tyson Fury.
You can't be against the big man, you know, you can't be against them. The two of them are really fantastic boxers, you know. He's like a master as well, you know, but the way he angles and uses his feet on his head movement, his feints, you know, he's really clever, really clever fighter. But so is Tyson Fury, you know. Although Tyson maybe sometimes looks a bit ugly on the eye with the way he does it and stuff, but he does it well and he's very effective. And he's got a real boxing IQ himself, so I think that's more of a chess match. But I think just with the size, just with the natural size, and also Fury can box and he knows how to fight different ways as well. So I think Fury would probably win that fight.
Do we even get that fight with Usyk and Joshua? Looks like they're headed towards a rematch. I mean, do you see Joshua possibly beating Usyk second time around?
I think it would be the same result. I think Usyk wins that again, but I think what Joshua needs to do, in my opinion, to win that fight is just use his natural size and strength, impose it from the very first bell. You know, go and push Usyk back, educated front foot pressure, and make sure keep up guard, push on him, throw punches, make it crude, sort of hit him, not be too clean in the boxing way, just hit him and be the bigger man and use your size and strength ability and impose it on him from the first bell, tire him out and hit him with big shots, because every time he did land on Usyk it seemed to bother him a little bit. So if he does do that, then I think he can get him out of there and win it and tire him out. But with AJ's style and what I've seen over years, and I've known him for years, that's not his style. You know, his style is very upright and clean-cut boxing, punching, and when he sees you hurt, he's a very good finisher. But in terms of the sort of coming forward, front foot pressure and all that, he's not that kind of fighter. So it's quite tough to change your style completely when that's all you've done. You know, so but he's doing all the right things. He's come over to America. He's looking for new coaches. He's looking to add to his game. He's looking to improve and do something different. So
you think that's the right call for him?
I think it is. Yeah, obviously what he was doing wasn't working the last couple of fights. You know, his performances. He obviously feels that himself. So you've got to respect him. He's going out and he's looking to try and better himself and regain his titles again. So nothing but respect to him for that as well.
Awesome. Thank you,
Josh. Let's flash back. You've been having like a little bit of a war on social media with one of your former opponents. I know you already know it's Regis Prograis. Regis has he lost a razor thin decision to you. Arguably one of your best fights of your career. One of the most competitive fights of both of your careers, where you actually took Regis's O away. Take me back to that fight, and what do you remember about the Regis Prograis fight?
It was a good fight, you know. It was a good close fight. You know, the right man won on the night. I believe I won by 3 rounds on that. I've watched it back a couple of times. I think I won that by 3 rounds. It was a good fight early on. I thought I won the first round. You know, he won the next couple, and then you know I got into my rhythm halfway through, and then I started taking over. 9, 10, 11. I couldn't see the last 3 rounds. My eye was up. It was through the accidental head clashes, but it was head clashes, and you know then I couldn't see. But then obviously I just felt that I won that fight pretty well. But if my eye hadn't closed, which is ifs and buts and whatever, see that it did happen. So you know if I've had the 2 eyes still, I think I would have got on top of him even more and dominated him more in the end as well.
What would have to happen for you and Regis Prograis to fight again? What would have to happen?
I feel like Tommy's 7-0, Jake's 4-0.
Right. All right, my peeps, thanks for watching. I will be back at the CANELO plant press conference, post-fight press conference. So stay tuned today, and all the footage will be up soon. Thank you, guys.